So, all right, let's go into the next area of casting, and I think the viewing audience sees how there is some complexity here, and there's the various categories that you have to familiarize yourself with. Somebody like Joseph would help people through this,
exactly.
But for our purposes, we're learning that there are different areas. Let's go now to principal and day player. What's the distinction between them and the background atmosphere?
Okay, the principal parts are usually under 5. Day to 3 days to 5 days, call them under 5s. Those are the ones that act next to the star and cameos or the co-star. Okay. Day players is like we could put in for under 5 days. We prefer to get names if it's union. If it's non-union, we prefer to get financial core actors. Those are recognizable actors that have been starring roles 10 or 15 years ago. They haven't got completely full roles anymore, so what they do is they send a letter to the Screen Actors Guild under the financial core department, and they can work, excuse me, union and non-union jobs. You don't have to be a name, though, to start out in day player and under 5 roles, but what happens in that, you may get hired on as an actor on a TV show or feature film, and the next thing you know, you get cut out because a celebrity now is replaced you, or vice versa. Yeah. A major top billing celebrity may not be available to work, and after they committed to it, and then all of a sudden you'll get replaced and take their spot. And it happens all the time.
Now, on the 5 days, you mean if they're anticipated to work on the set or on a TV show less than 5 days or up to 5 days, they're really in this category.
Right, they're a day player or under 5s.
Okay, that's what you mean by
principal
that.
Casting. They might be a waitress, waiter, let it be, they get 1 line, 2 lines, but sometimes, you know, the scenes may take 2 weeks in a restaurant, and then out of those 2 weeks, 1 week could be used as an under 5 or day player. And they'll play that waiter or waitress has to be in that scene for the whole 5 days. They usually get their own trailer, honey wagon, and they get their little private quarters like an RFE, depending on the budget of the pitcher. If it's a non-union pitcher, they'll probably be with everyone else. Okay. If it's a union pitcher, they'll have their own honey wagon.
Now, you mentioned, Joseph, something about financial core. Tell our viewing audience, what does financial core mean in the union, non-union context?
All right. With the Screen Actors Guild, they have an option that if you are not making up to date, they charge quarterly charges of a minimum, depending on the actor. Now, they get 14.8% from the production company separately, but the actors that are not, and actresses that are not working continuously, what is there, 22 million actors and actresses, and what do they say, 1%'s working. Yeah. So out of the other ones, they can't afford to pay their dues, so they are eligible at any time to write a letter to the Screen Actors Guild Financial Core Division, which here in the West is on Wilshire Boulevard, in the East is in New York. And they write it to the Financial Core Division. They send it certified, and they say, I cannot afford to pay my union dues. I request that I could work union and non-union because of my financial situation, which is known as a Financial Core Department in the Screen Actors Guild Union.
And then the Guild will take their correspondence and then follow up and then grant them.
Yeah, they put them on a status. They put them on a hold status so they don't have to pay, but they don't lose their spot, because if they do not do this and they do not pay their quarterlies, they have to pay that $2,400 all over again.
Every year they're liable for that.
Right. If they don't make their quarterlies, they'll start being charged, and after 3 years, they got to pay that whole $2,400. So they need to get in the financial core status if they want to keep their status alive with the Screen Actors Guild. Correct.
Very good. Now, you also mentioned something that there's a bit of a perk for having a principal or 5-day player role, and that you mentioned honey wagons and trailers. Right. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. Now, also they get a little bit spoiled. They get a lot of. Sometimes they even get assistants, hair, makeup assistants. They also, you know, get special appearance credit. Now, a lot of credit comes on the film. They'll have a Screen Actors Guild. They'll have actually a credit for this for the film itself. Now, if they list them alphabetically, then that means I've seen somebody just do a 1-day spot and get put over Sylvester Stallone's credit because they did it alphabetically.
I see.
So
but that really depends on the production company.
Yeah, if they want to list their credits as alphabetically or by starring appearance.
Now, you mentioned something that's probably a little bit away from what we're talking about, but that's credits. Isn't that negotiated between the talent's agents and the production company
and depending
so
on
on?
wages, too. Usually it's a scale. Usually they do a weekly scale for under fives and day players, and it depends on the budget of what the talent will be paid. But the more the talent works as being a member of the Screen Actors Guild, is the more their percentage covers their medical and dental, which the Screen Actors Guild, if you go to their doctors, will pay 100% of medical and dental.
Okay. All right, let's go into the area of the co-star. You did state earlier that they could obtain a co-star type credit. Is that common amongst principal or day players?
Yeah, if what happens is while they're in production, a lot of times the main stars may fall out of place, or there may be an actor that'll be missing, or the director will see a unique talent in the performer or performance, and take that talent and then move them up and say, I think we're going to switch the script around a little bit. It happens a lot in the independent world. Now, when you're into the majors, for the major TV and films, they usually go by the script. As independents, as you picked as a day player under 5, you have a better chance of getting a co-starring role and moving up as when you work with the independents.
Now, in whatever category that the potential actor is in, whether they're in the background, principal, or star category, which we'll talk about a little later, is this really determined by the script and their role in it, and the overall aspect of the feature? Or show, right? The talent really is going to fit into one or more of these categories.
Yeah, when they get that close and they get actually hired and they do the contracts, yes, it's all up to the director. And the director can change and twist the script, rip pages out, and I've seen it happen where they take 30 pages of the script and change it while they're going into production. The script supervisor is so important on each film. They also help coach the actor. Now, usually when you get picked as a day player under 5, they'll set you up with a coach, an actor's coach, on set, rehearsing, and sometimes give you 3 days of coaching and rehearsal as a day player under 5 to make sure that there's no misunderstandings or concerns if they're performing.
Let me ask you this. You mentioned that there are adjustments or changes that go on during production. Let's say somebody starts off as background atmosphere category.
Correct.
Could they move in to a day player, principal during the shoot?
Yes,
and have an elevation from it. Is that likely, though?
Yes, when I was working with William Forsythe in 1994, we had this actress. She came in. She was just as a background. They uplifted her, gave her $730 to work with William Forsythe as an actress, as a waitress, just to say one line.
I see.
And
so she was elevated from atmosphere to background.
Exactly, and Tafted.
Okay.
And Taft-Hartley worked as well on that. She was very happy. Oh, Holly Hummel.
All right, so our viewing audience understands then that if an actor starts off as background atmosphere, they could get elevated to day player, principal, and then maybe even to a higher category. But is that likely?
On Duel of Legends, we did it to 40 talent.
40,
we sent like 135 background talent, and over 40 of them got elevated up into speaking parts and credits.
During the production?
During the production, during the 4.5-week shoot.
All right, let's go into the next category. Unless you have anything else to say on the day player
it's gamble.
Principal area.
It's tough. The competition's high. If you want to throw the dice, give it a shot. It's not going to hurt, but you'll need commercial and theatrical headshots to give yourself a shot at this business. Black and white is out, colors in. And it's all taking over. It's 80% right now is done through the internet. No more sending headshots and paper cuts.
Okay. Which I see you've experienced a little bit of, right?
Quite a few of, yes.
All right.